So I haven't made a video in a while about the tank, the 33 long, so I figured I would. Mostly because I've kind of lost a little bit of interest and nobody watches them, so. It's around 12 o'clock Sunday morning. So this filter decided to take a shit for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I'm going to try cleaning it and seeing what happens. I'm hoping I don't have to replace the filter because those Seacom tidal filters are not fucking cheap. Excuse my French. Yeah, not cheap at all. The shot of the tank, which needs a water change, unfortunately, and a little good clean out. But everything is doing okay so far besides the filter. It's crawling with cherry shrimp. Look at all these cherry shrimp in here. It's bonkers. They're everywhere in here. Look at them. It's nuts. And here's the one blue velvet shrimp that I have left still. Some of these cherry shrimp are not like completely red. I don't know why that is, but they are cherry shrimp though. They're just not red because every shrimp in here came from a cherry shrimp. So I bought a batch of them from eBay, and they just bred, and some of them just came out clear. So I thought about maybe giving them to the LFS, but I just haven't really got around to doing it. You know, there is so many cherry shrimp in this tank, it's kind of crazy. I think it might be kind of cool to have my own cherry shrimp tank, but unfortunately my house, I don't really have room for it. I mean, I do, but I think my wife might kill me if I bought another tank. Speaking of tanks, I had a thought about possibly upgrading this tank recently. I was at a Pet Supplies Plus today, checking out a 55 gallon, and man, I love 55 gallon tanks. They're like the biggest, like, medium sized tank or so, in my opinion, that you can get. Huge footprint. I mean, it's not really wide from back to front very much, but let's face it, the tank is huge. It's basically a 75 gallon without the the back to front depth. So but then I think about how much of a pain in the ass it would be to do maintenance and cleaning, and then I'm kind of like, I don't really want to get into that, especially because I've had so much luck with growing plants with this tank, and I think it has something to do with the height to light penetration. Given that this is a shorter tank, because I've done plants in sand and other tanks, and never grew. Nothing ever happened really. Plants turned to mush. So, yeah, look at this rotella. It's going bonkers. Sorry about the lights in the background. It's our Christmas tree. Look at this. Look how tall it's getting. Now, granted, if I had a 55 gallon, and the rotella would grow like real tall, and some of these plants would grow crazy in a 55, that'd be cool. But given that I'm using a Phoenix Stingray in a shorter tank, which is probably why the Phoenix Stingray is working okay, is because it's not very tall. If I did it on a 55 gallon tank, I'm guessing it, might not work out very well. This tank has been reset up, I should say, for pretty much a year now. So that's pretty cool. Excuse me. I'm thinking about getting some more white clouds for this tank. The LFS, due to COVID, has not been able to get golden white clouds, and I thought about possibly getting some regular white clouds, but I kind of want to keep the look the same. I don't know. I'll see what happens. I'd love to add some other fish, but unfortunately, if I add some other fish in here, I'm pretty sure they'll just decimate the cherries that I got going on here, and I don't want to do that. Besides, these guys have been so cool ever since I've had them. I've only had a few deaths, and that was not really due to them dying themselves. They jumped out of the tank when I had problems with the heat a while back, or our furnace was, or not our furnace, I'm sorry, our air conditioning wasn't working. So the tank was about 80 something degrees, so I took the top off to cool it down a little bit. And they jumped out then. Some of them did. I think about 3 or 4 of them, something like that. And I just haven't been able to replace them because the LFS, every time I go to look, they haven't had any. So they actually had some in recently, but they only had one of them. So I'm waiting to check back and see if they'll get any more in. I don't know, like I said, I thought about getting, maybe not necessarily upgrading, but getting a different tank in general. But whenever I look at this tank, I still think it's beautiful. It looks great. I kind of wouldn't mind having a 40 breeder, or maybe even a 30 breeder. I think a 30 breeder might be better because, it's the same height as this tank. It's 12 inches tall. So I think, like I said, that's part of the thing with growing plants so easily. I've done so many different tanks and just never had any luck. I did a 40 breeder before this tank with the sand substrate, and nothing happened. So who knows? And honestly, I'm not really doing anything in this tank. I don't add fertilizers, nothing. I don't know if it, maybe the the fish waste is acting as a decent fertilizer, because even though stuff kind of withers in this tank a little bit, as you can see, nothing is like completely dying. Things are growing. I mean, it's not, wouldn't say it's like thriving per se, I would say, but things are growing, nice and at a slow, low-tech pace. So, look at these crypts. I've had these for a long time. They're doing good. What's going on over here? Evidently, there's something interesting over here. But, yeah, I like having a longer tank. So, I don't know. I thought about maybe, since I always get money from my family for Christmas, because my birthday's on Christmas. Birthday, I would say, whatever. I get birthday money. They do that with each member of our family. It's really nice. They usually give us around a couple $100 or so, sometimes more than that. I thought about going out and buying a new 40 long, because that's a tank size I really like. LFS has them for around $180, which is really pitiful for just a tank, though. Honestly, it's a Seaport tank, though, and it's beautiful. But I wouldn't necessarily say that it's worth it, given that it's, the only difference is it's about 4 inches taller. But still, I like that size tank, and I don't know. I guess I'll wait and see what happens when I actually have the money in hand and I go down and look at the LFS. So, but really, honestly, this tank serves me well. It's easy to maintain. I skip water changes a lot, honestly, but I never really see any issues. Maybe because I have so many plants and they're acting as an adequate filtration system and keeping everything in check, despite having about around 20 white clouds in here. So it's pretty fairly stocked, the tank. Yeah, because it's only a 30. It's a 33 long, but I think it's technically only around, like 30 gallons. And probably after you add the sand and all that, it's probably more like 25 gallons maybe. I don't know. So someone talked me out of it. I don't really need, another tank per se. This tank does very well, and it's been going on 2 years that I've purchased this tank. It was around February or early March, 2020. Yep. And I originally set this tank up after COVID hit for something to do during lockdown. Yeah, we only know how that went. And it's still going. Anyways, I think that's about it. Yeah, the tank is doing well. Plants are doing well. Fish are doing well. I'm just gonna shut up for a minute and give you a shot at the fish. Some of the inhabitants. They seem to be quite excitable right now for some reason. Sorry for the glare, by the way. Alright, I think I'm out.